بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome everyone in today's class. This class is for the first secondary grade in English subject for the first semester. The lesson is Unit 3, Reading, Writing from the book Mega Goal 5. You can see it in your book on page 40, 41, 42, and 43. Prepared by Abdullah Hussein and presented by me, Madra Harbi. So welcome everyone. Our objectives in today's lesson, we do have two skills to practice. The first one is reading. We're going to read an article about an out-of-this-world vacation. And second one, writing. We're going to write a subject regarding education in 2013. So before we begin reading, we do have a question, a normal question for this reading. If you could go into space, would you, and why or why not? So if you had the opportunity to go to space, would you take this opportunity? If yes, then why? If no, then why not? And for myself, I believe yes, it is a great opportunity to see the space, to see the stars, to contemplate in the beauty of the galaxy and also the universe. I believe this is a very, very extraordinary chance. And what do we exactly mean an out-of-this-world vacation? So as you can see here, picture, some two astronauts are camping maybe on the moon. This is really unusual. And so what do you think, do you think that such pictures, or let's say space tourism, will become common in our lifetime? So do you think in the future it will be easy for people to go to space as a tourist destination? So it's really, really a big question. I believe yes, why not? I believe we all now in a very modern world with very modern researches, and maybe in every field, especially in space. So let's go back to our question. What do we exactly mean out of this world? So out of this world actually has two meanings in this context. The first meaning is, it means literally outside of our world, in outer space. Okay, so this is the first meaning. It means outside of our world. And the second meaning, it means extraordinarily exciting and great. It means, wow, it is fantastic. This is what we mean by out of this world. So here we have example, and Ahmed is an out of this world football player. Ahmed is an out of this world football player. So here are the two meanings. This phrase can be in both those meanings. So now we're going to talk about an article called an out of this world vacation. So what do you think this will be about? So this article will be about, of course, space tourism. Space tourism. So I'm going to read this article, and then after I finish reading, we'll have some questions regarding this article. Things that once seemed impossible often become commonplace with the passing of time. There are people predicting that this will happen with space tourism in the next decade or two. Some are even investing in and developing space tourism technology, believing that space tourism will be the next big thing. They imagine a future in which space travel will have become a reality for millions of ordinary people. At the moment, space tourism is only a possibility for the incredibly wealthy. In 2001, American multimillionaire Dennis Tito paid $20 million to become the first space tourist. After 8 months of rigorous training, Tito traveled aboard the Russian capsule that was launched by an American company called Space Adventures. He then spent 7 days aboard the International Space Station. Since then, a number of other millionaire space tourists of different nationalities have gone into space. Although up to now only very wealthy people have had the opportunity to be space tourists, many see this as the beginning of what will eventually become a lucrative new industry. There are several companies that have already invested millions of dollars in developing new reusable launch vehicles. Their goal is to lower launch costs enough to make it possible for the average person to buy a ticket to space. The Japanese Rocket Society, for example, has set a target price of 1 million yen, about $10,000. Virgin Galactic, a British company owned by Richard Branson's Virgin Group, has been working on plans for sending people into space for years. The company is about to begin testing on their 8-seat spacecraft and expects that they will have worked out any problems by 2020. When the spacecraft is shown to be safe, Virgin Galactic will begin their flight. Although tickets are steep, €100, 100,000 pounds, or it's about $160,000. Amazingly, the first year of flight has already been booked. One of these future passengers is Lisa Ramirez, a mother of three. When asked why she was prepared to spend so much money on galactic flight, Ramirez explained, "I am 85 years old, and by the time this happens, I will have been dreaming of going to space for at least 45 years. There are even companies working on plans to build hotels for space tourists. The Shimizu Corporation, a giant Japanese construction company, has detailed plans for a hotel they expect to complete by 2020. They believe that by then they will have created a 63-room hotel which will orbit 279 miles, about 450 kilometers, above the surface of the Earth. The hotel will slowly spin in order to produce enough force to simulate Earth's gravity. It is estimated that such a space hotel would cost $6 to $12 billion and would take about 6 years to build. Since water was discovered on the moon in 1998, the multinational hotel chain Hilton Hotels has been working on plans for a hotel on the moon. The plans called for a 5,000-room complex with a beach, a working farm, a medical center, and even a school. 2 huge solar panels will generate the power Hilton is working on this project with experts at NASA. You may wonder what space tourists will do while in space. To begin with, most will probably want to spend some time simply enjoying the incredible sight of Earth from space. After that, no doubt they will spend some time gazing at amazingly bright stars, and will take a spacewalk or two. When space tourists have had their fill of observing, they are likely to spend hours amusing themselves, floating and doing acrobatics in the zero gravity of space. This zero gravity could provide endless recreational opportunities, including swimming in a zero gravity swimming pool in which people move through floating mass of water. With so much research, energy, and of course money being poured into space tourism, it is clear that it is a matter of when rather than if space tourism will become a reality. So this is text that we just read is actually he gave us evidence that space tourism is actually become reality, and there are major companies that are looking to make it an industry, whether there are flight companies or housing companies. Okay, so a lot of companies actually want to make it reality and to include a lot amount of people, not only the very wealthy one. So it's really surprising how much things will going to change, especially in the field of space tourism. Now we do have a couple of questions regarding this text. Let's all read it together and then we'll have some answers. The first question, does space tourism exist now? I believe not yet, but it will. It will be exist in the in the next few years because there are plans to make it reality. And the second one, does the author think that space tourism will become common in the future? I believe so. And what will space tourists do for fun? Maybe they only enjoying the view from on the Earth from the space, or they're going to swim in the floating water. Let's see here. So the first one is yes, but only for a few very wealthy people, which is space tourism. And as we said, does the author think that the space tourism will become common in the future? Of course, yes. And what will space tourists do for fun? Well, they're going to float around in the zero gravity and observe the stars and the surroundings. Okay, and I believe this is a very, very fun way to spend our time with. And now we're going to move to the next sections, which is true-false questions. So, the first tourist in space paid $2 million. True-false. I believe it is false because he paid 20. So, let's see here. Virgin Galactic is struggling to book its first year of flights. I don't think so. And a Japanese construction company has plans to build a hotel in space. So now let's check the answers all together and see. The first one is false. He paid $20 million. And the Virgin Galactic actually do not bother for their flights to be booked, because it's already booked the first year, and a Japanese construction has plans to build a hotel. This is really true. The second one, the entire hotel will experience zero gravity. Okay. And the second one, the Hilton Hotel chain plans to power a moon hotel with a wind power. And number 6, Hilton Hotels is working on the moon hotel with NASA. So let's see here the answers. So the first one is false. Okay. The hotel will spin in order to reproduce Earth's gravity, and the Hilton Hotel actually, they're not going to depend by the wind power, but actually on the solar power. And the last one, Hilton Hotel is working on the moon hotel with NASA. This is true. Now we'll move to the writing section. So choose one large change or discovery that you think will happen by the year of 2030, maybe 15 years from now. And think about the impact this change will have on both your personal life and on society. So you have to take real clues about the change you're going to write about, or the discovery. Not only this, but also you have to think about the impact, whether on the personal level or on the society level. So write your ideas in the organizer I'm going to show you now. Write an essay presenting your ideas and give some examples. Say if you think the change will be positive or negative, okay? So the first thing we'll have to do is we're going to write the change or the discovery that we think will happen in 2030, okay? And after we do this, we're going to have the impact of such change that will have on my life, with presenting some example, and of course not only my life but also on the society. We have to say the impact that such change will have on my society. Okay. For example, I believe the change that will have taken place by 2030 is, for myself, I believe that people will live in the moon. Okay, people will live in outer space. I believe so. I believe this will be a reality. The impact it will be on my life. Let's talk about the society first. I believe it's going to have a huge impact on society because now they will explore or expand their knowledge about space, about also the energy resources. We'll have some different energy sources, and since it's going to affect the society, of course, it's going to affect my life, and I believe in a very positive way. So here you have it, a simple example on how can we write about a change, and then we say impact, whether at the personal level or on society level, with supported, of course, with some examples. Now here we have the writing piece about education in 2030. Let's read about it. By 2030, I believe that technology will have completely changed the way we learn. Instead of going to school, we will be able to stay home and learn with the use of computers. One way we will do this is to use an educational robot. This is a robot which goes to school in our place. We will use the robot to communicate remotely with our teacher and our classmates. So this is also an example of the reading, okay, of the writing I'm asking you to do. Okay, so we start with by 2030, and then tell us the change that you think will happen. Okay, tell us the change that you think will happen, and then start to talk or to support it with some example on how it's going to affect your life and the society. So now we reach the summary of our lessons. We talked about, we practiced two skills. The first one is reading. We read an article called An Out of This World Vacation, and also we explained the writing task, and we gave an example, which is Education 2030. Thank you very much for watching. This is a reference if you want to have more resources.